Okay, got the system running. Don't know if you can even see this monitor, but system is running, and I had to put one of the old memory chips back in it just to get it to boot up. It was a memory problem, not the processor or the video card. There's two of the chips that I was testing. They came out of that box of round chips that I told you I was going to test all of them. I haven't put any more in there, but these two gave the same results. Could be a possibility. I wouldn't think, being PC133, that it would make a difference, because these are PC100 chips that came out of the machine. Here's one of the original ones, and they're PC133 is a faster graded RAM, but it should work fine in a system that doesn't require it. It should still run if it requires PC100. But there must be something else. Maybe they've got settings like the cache ratings and stuff like that. Several different memory settings that you can mess with in the BIOS. It might have something to do with why they're not booting up with the system, and I might go in and tinker around with those and tweak them a little and see if I can find out what it is. But these memory chips were so generic, maybe that's why the guy got rid of them. He couldn't find any specs on them, and all they say on them is you can't see it, but it says 128M-133D, and basically 128 meg PC133 is all I can make out of that, and that's basically all the information it gives here, besides a serial number. And I have looked up the chips, every number on the stickers that you can find. I have looked these up, cross-referenced them across Google so many times, it just kind of started making me dizzy, and I said, well, shoot, they ought to just work, but they don't at the moment. So I have to see if there's a setting in the BIOS that I can use to get these working. Since all the other chips are the same, they're probably going to give the same results, unless the chips are just faulty. If they're faulty, it's kind of hard to believe a whole entire box would be faulty. These have serial numbers on them, and some of the serial numbers just go straight in line in that box. They start off like this is 157-16827, and this one is 157-168. No, let's see, that must not be it. Hold on. Okay, over here, 0113-69038. And this is 0113-69085. So those serial numbers are very close, and the whole group of them over there, some of them are only separated by a digit or two. So it's like, it makes me feel like they come out of some type of work environment with a lot of PCs or something, but maybe they were all faulty and they took them out, and he got a hold of them and couldn't get them to work, and he decided to just sell them. It's a possibility, but I got a feeling that some of them, if not all of them, are probably going to work if I can just get the right memory settings, the timings and stuff like that. But I'm going to continue to tinker with them. The first black CD drive I put in here, it worked fine, no problems at all. Right now I'm looking at a directory, if this comes into view. This right here is the directory on a burnt CD that I have with some AVG and Firefox and stuff like that, and some games and junk on a CD, and it shows up right here fine and reads the disk fine. I got it to go into some zip files and look at them, and I didn't really run anything off the disk, but I put about 3 or 4 disks in, and it's reading all of them just fine. Detected and came up as soon as the computer booted up as a light on. CD-ROM drive. No problems. I got these second-hand too. But at least that works fine, because I've got it installed in the system. I really don't want to have to take it out. But I want to temporarily disconnect the cables and hook up the other ones and test them, just to see if they work. I want to turn the system back on its side. I stood it up on this rotating stool that I have, just so I could make sure that it wouldn't have problems reading the disc right offhand, but most of them read them with them turned on their sides. So I'm going to turn it on its side and temporarily hook up those CD-ROM drives, test those, and probably go back to testing the memory, change a few settings, and see if I can get those to work. If not, no big deal. I've got memory in all the systems. I just thought it would be neat to have them all matching and have some spares and stuff, but we'll go from there, and I'll maybe come back and tell you how the CD-ROM drives tested out and if I got anything done with the memory. But everything else is working with the system fine. No problems. It booted up and all. So I'll get back with you in a minute and let you know the further results of the CD-ROM drives and the other memory chips. Okay, I just want to show you I'm testing some of these CD drives here. I'll show you an example of that residual power that's left over, if it'll work. I'm pulling the power plug. This system's just been shut down. And watch that fan in the back. I'm going to hit the power button on the front of the machine. Okay, did you see that? That was power that was left over in the system. And the lights on the front you couldn't see, but they blinked too for a second. And there was enough power to kick the fans and the systems on for a second. I know you could see that on the video a lot easier. And just to show you, now I haven't touched anything. There's no power cord hooked up to the back at all. That was just the residual power in there. It probably spun every fan in here, but I just highlighted that one fan there so you could see it in this low resolution video. But that power that's left over in the motherboard, the power supply, and the capacitors and stuff, that's what can damage some of these option cards. Even if you pull the plug loose, if that power hasn't dissipated, like you've let it sit there for a small period of time, or you've possibly not pressed the power button on the front to make it try to boot the system and it just uses that power up, then there's a possibility you go to pull one of these cards out, you might either pull it out at a slight angle or put the new card in at a slight angle, and some of the pins will touch where there's some voltage and they're not supposed to get voltage to those pins, and it could mess the card up. The only cards I've ever damaged like this is some phone line networking cards, and I was putting them in and pulling them out really fast, testing a bunch of them and trying to figure out what was wrong with one of them, and I ended up ruining one or two others by doing that. And they would still come on and detect, but Windows would detect them twice. There'd be one card in there and it kept detecting two of them, and they would never work properly after that. So I messed something up by doing that so quickly. So take your time when you're doing this. Even though I'm trying to do several systems and I'm testing lots of drives, I'm still trying to take my time, and that'll save you some hardware damage and lots of headaches. Okay, I've been testing the memory and finally got through all the CD-ROM drives. There's a total of, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Had to test 9 CD-ROM drives. I just needed to test them. Those aren't going to be used in these LAN rigs, but most of those black ones there are probably going to be used, and luckily every single one of them works fine. I think that next to the last one, right there, next to the last one, might have had a little bit of data errors just playing one video file, but it only happened once, and it could just need a head cleaning. I have a cleaning disc to run through there, and that'll probably straighten that out. But you know, for the most part, it worked fine, and all the others worked great. A couple of them are a little quieter than the others, a little more responsive, but for the most part, they all work good. And so do those older ones there. Or, well, to be honest, only one of them's older. The other two are actually newer than the black ones. They're just different models made for other computers. The memory chips, I was wondering if I might not be able to use any of them. It turned out it's not really a setting in the BIOS or anything. It seems to be dirty contacts. These are the first two chips here that I tested, and they were coming up, you know, sending beep codes that there was memory errors. And I started to use a couple more chips, and that chip right back there worked fine right out of the package and didn't give me any problems. And I ran a few games and it seemed to be working pretty good. Then I got to this chip, and it didn't work. It was giving the beep codes again, and I cleaned the contacts with a pencil eraser, and the system booted up then, and it got into Windows and everything was running pretty good. I ran a few video files and stuff, and then I went into Unreal Tournament and I played one complete round of 10 kills fine, and then it loaded up the next map and the graphics started glitching up a little bit. So it was just because I'd done such a quick cleaning. I need to thoroughly clean these contacts and see if that chip is still good, or that module. And I believe I need to probably do that to all of these. Maybe they were stored somewhere where they were in an environment where maybe there was some humidity and stuff like that, or you know, some dust, and you know, the contacts just need to be cleaned really good, and maybe they'll all work okay after that, but just don't have time to do it all tonight. So many of those modules, and I really need to clean them really well and run each one through a couple rounds of the MEM test program, and then maybe they'll be usable. But if not, I'll just use the memory that I already had in here, because it worked fine. I just, you know, I had my preference to use all the same types of modules, and PC-133 is a little faster. The unit can use PC-133 to get a slight advantage, but it doesn't need it. But anyway, that's it for now, and maybe by tomorrow I'll have all these memory modules checked and actually get started on another system instead of doing so much testing. Thanks.